This is Vijayasri, working as an assistant professor, Department of CSIT, MLR Institute of Technology. In today's session, we are going to discuss about pointer to structure and self-referential structure. These are the topics in structures in C programming. Overview of the session, pointer to structure and self-referential structures. So, first, how to write a structure using the keyword struct. Using the keyword struct, we can write a structure. So, first we'll write the structure. So, struct, I'm taking example as student. Then here we'll write members of the structure. So, members of the structure, suppose data type. So, here the data type is int, roll number, then float, marks. Here I consider only two members of the structure. Then to create a variable for the structure, either we can create a variable here or we can create a variable in the main like struct student yes2. Either we can create a variable here or we can create a variable here. So all this we discussed in the previous session, how to create a structure and how to create a variable for the structure. Now, here we are discussing about pointer to structure. Then what is a pointer? Pointer is having a property that it can store address of another variable of same type. Suppose here I am declaring a variable data type and a variable name, and I'm declaring a pointer also, int star p. Now it is a pointer. Pointer is having a property that it can store address of another variable of same type. So here the variable is of a. So this pointer p can store address of a because a is also of same type. Now I want to create a pointer for the variable which is of type structure. So pointer must be also of structure type. A pointer to struct is thus a variable that refers to a structure variable. So to create a pointer variable, we have to use a data type, but we are creating a pointer variable to the structure. So pointer must be also of that type. So struct student pointer star ptr. So asterisk ptr. Now we created a pointer variable. What does a pointer can do? Pointer stores the address of another variable of same type. If I want to store address of S2, S2 also must be of type struct student. So now ptr is equal to address of S2. In this way, we create the pointer variable for the structure. Now we'll see how we can declare a variable of that type. To declare a variable as a pointer, it must be prefixed by asterisk, and this is used to obtain address of a variable. Address operator is already we know we have to use this ampersand. Then that variable, pointer variable, must be also of type structure of that variable. This pointer variable can store address of another variable of same type. To access the values, like to access the members of the structure, we are using a dot operator, which is also called access operator. But if I want to access the members of a structure using a pointer, we have an access operator called arrow. Special operator called indirectional operator, which is used to access the members of a structure using a pointer. So to fetch the values, the dot operator is used. Like how we are using a dot operator, consider a small example. Struct student. Then the student details are int roll number, then float marks. Then here only I am creating the, no, here I am ending this. Then in a main, I am creating the variable, structure variable. Then it is struct student s1. So s1 values here. Then I am creating a variable for this struct student s1. Here I am initializing the values. I am taking the values at compile time, means we'll provide the values while we are writing the source code. First is the roll number is 1. Then marks suppose 25.5. Because here I have only 2 members, so I have provided 2 values for the structure. Then now, if I want to access these values, we have a access operator called dot operator. If I want to print these values, then printf. So roll number is of type integer, %d, marks is of type float, comma. So s1 dot roll number. Already we have seen this, how to access the members of the structure. Using a normal structure variable. If a pointer is created, pointer is also must be of type struct student, because we are here the variable is of type struct student. So how to create a pointer? To create a pointer, struct student star ptr. Now this student s1 is having a roll number and a marks. Roll number is of 1, marks 25.5. Suppose the base address of this is 1000. Then it is 1004, because int occupies 4 bytes of memory. Then I am creating a pointer variable of a struct student. So what is the property of a pointer? Pointer can hold the address of another variable of the same type. So here s1 must be also of type struct student. Then ptr is equal to address of s1. Address of s1 is nothing but it stores the base address. Using a pointer ptr. Using a pointer, if I want to fetch the values of a student s1, then we have to use the access operator as arrow. Then we have to use the access operator as arrow operator. Example of pointer to structure. So here I created a structure, that is struct book. Then the members of this structure are title, price and pages. Now to create a variable for the structure, that is struct book, this consider as a data type struct book. Then b1 is the variable created for that structure. So now b1 is having members, that is title, then price, then pages. So whenever we are creating a pointer to the structure, first we have to define structure. So here we define the structure, then declare a structure variable. So this is nothing but a declaration of structure variable. Then next is declare a pointer variable. declare a pointer variable. So how to declare a pointer variable using a star. So here struct book is the I want to create a pointer variable of structure type. So struct book and then in directional operator, that is asterisk, then p is the pointer name. Then next is initialize the pointer variable. Initialize the pointer variable. What does pointer do? Pointer stores address of another variable of same type. So here b1 is also type struct book, whereas pointer p is also type struct book. Now p can store address of b1. Suppose this is 1000, then it is 1010, because here title I gave size is 10 bytes, then float occupies 4 bytes, then 1014. So here only I provided the values, it compile time 425 pages. Now p, we have a p here. What does p is doing? P is holding the address of b1, where b1 is the variable of struct book. So it stores the base address, it is pointing to here. So initialize the pointer variable. Here we have initialized the variable, then access the members of the structure using a pointer. Access. Then after initialization, we have to access the members of the structure using a pointer. Using a pointer, we can access the members. The access operator here used is arrow. So we can see in a printf statement here, percentages. Why I used percentages? Because here title is the array of characters or a character array. So the format specifier is percentages. But I want to access the value which is present over there using a pointer. So pointer is here p. The access operator used to fetch the value is arrow operator. Then p is the pointer. To fetch the value using a pointer, we need an arrow operator. Then the member of the structure is title. Then next is the percentage f, because price are declared in the data type float. So the format specifier used here percentage f. Then I want to access the price using a pointer variable. So pointer variable is here p. To fetch the details, we need an arrow operator. We are fetching the details using a pointer. So that we need a access operator called arrow operator. Then which value I am printing? The value, the number is here price. Then next is the pages. Using a pointer, we can access that value by giving the access operator as arrow. Pages. In that way, we can access the members of the structure using a pointer. Then next, self-referential structure. What is self-referential structure? Self-referential structures are those structures. Self-referential structures are those structures that have one or more pointers which points to the same structure as its member. It is having one or more pointers which points to the same type of structure but as their member, which points to the same structure but as their member. So suppose here we have a syntax. So to create a structure, we need a struct keyword, struct structure name. Then to create a pointer which points to the same structure, then struct structure name, and here we have a pointer. Then consider a small example here. Struct. Here I am taking struct. So consider a small example. Struct code. Then it is having a members like int I, then char C. I'm not taking here array of characters. It means I'm not considering a string. I'm just taking a single character. So char C. But we can create one or more pointer which points to the same structure as their member. So here we'll create a pointer which points to the same structure as their member. So how to create a pointer? Data type and a data type asterisk and then a pointer name. The data type must be of, we are creating a pointer to the structure. So the data type must be of structure type. So here struct code. Then to create a pointer star. Then the pointer name here consider as PTR. So now this PTR is a self-referential structure because this PTR is a member which is pointing to the same structure. So now create a variable for this structure. So I'm creating a variable main. So to create a variable, we need a struct code. I'm creating variable for this structure and these are the members. Here pointer is also member of the structure which pointing to the same structure. So it becomes which is in a nature self-referential. So self-referential. Struct code. Then variable name is suppose var1. Now here I am initializing the values for var1. This var1 can access the member of struct code I. To access the member, we have to use the operator dot var1 of I is equal to 1. Here I gave the value as 1. Then var1 of C is equal to, here I am giving only a single character A. Single character must be enclosed in a single quotation. Then we have a pointer also as a member of this structure. So var1 dot ptr is equal to null. If we visualize this, so this is var1 which is having I as a member, C and a PTR. So here I provided the value var1 of I value as 1, then var1 of C the value as A and var1 of PTR value as null. Now I am creating one more variable for the same structure. So to create a variable we have to use the struct code. Then variable name is here var2. Like a var1, this is variable 2. So here I have provided the values to the variable 1. In the same way I am providing values to the variable 2 also. So variable 2, to access the members of the structure we need a dot operator dot. It is also having a members of I, C and PTR. So I is equal to sum2 var2 dot C is equal to B, single character, so it must be enclosed in a single quotation. then var2 dot ptr, again it is initialized to null. So here it is a I, C and ptr. So here we have a 2, V and ptr is null. Now it is a pointer. ptr, now ptr is a pointer. That means pointer can hold address of another variable which is of same type. So now what I am doing is var1 dot ptr. Suppose this address is 1000. I'm supposing suppose the address of variable 2 is, I'm just assuming the addresses. var1 dot ptr is equal to ptr, where ptr is a pointer. It is having a property that it can hold address of another variable. So address of var2. That means what is address of var2 here? 2000. So here instead of a null, I'm storing the address of var2. That means it is pointing to here. So if I want to access the values of variable 2 using a variable 1, we can do that. Because it is a pointer, here the access operator will be a arrow, but I want to fetch the values of variable 2 using a variable 1. To print the values, we have to use a function called printf. I want to print the values of variable 2. That is I. I is of type integer, so %d. Then B is of type character, then %c. But I want to access or fetch the values using a variable 1. So what I am writing is here variable 1 dot ptr using a pointer, using a access operator I, comma 1 dot ptr. I'm using here arrow operator, which is an access operator used to fetch the values whenever we are using a pointer. Then C. So here variable 1 dot ptr. Already I have assigned here address of var2. That means here it points to here. In that I value is 2. It will be printed. Then again var1 of ptr. var1 of ptr is nothing but address of 2000. That means we are fetching the values of variable 2. So here it will be printed B. So what are self-referential structure? If one or more pointers pointing to the same type of structure as their member. Here ptr is pointing to the same structure, but it is a member of that structure also. Then it shows a self-referential in nature. In today's session, we discussed about pointer to structure and self-referential structure. In next session, we'll discuss about functions to structures. Thank you.